Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you. Today we are going to discuss integrated pest management. In our previous lecture, we had talked about integrated weed management, and now for today's class, we will discuss integrated pest management. Both of these topics are extremely important from the point of view of agriculture. So let's get started. You should know what is a pest. A pest is that type of an insect which is unwanted. Like we had talked about weeds. Weeds are those plants which are valueless, rather which causes problem. So pests are also insects that cause harm to crops. So pests in a garden or landscape may include insects and mites, weeds, plant diseases, mammals, and birds. It can be tempting to look for a quick solution to an insect feeding on a garden plant. Many plant hurry to pull or spray every weed they see. Insects and weeds, however, play a role in the ecosystem. After planting a garden or establishing a lawn, the natural process of plant succession begins to re-establish native and innovative plants. So, integrated pest management is abbreviated as IPM. So, IPM is a dynamic process that makes use of an ecological systems approach and encourages the user or producer to consider and use the full range of best pest control options available in given economic, environment, and social considerations. If you see here in this picture, integrated pest management is associated or it includes what? Prevention, monitoring, treatment, again monitoring. So monitoring is something very important. Before treatment also you should know how to monitor. After treatment also you should monitor what is going on. How effective is your work? How effective was the treatment? Now we'll talk about the different methods of IPM. The different methods of IPM includes cultural method, physical method, biological method, and chemical method. This physical method is also known as mechanical methods. So let's get started. The basic steps that are followed in IPM are first to identify the pest. This is very important. We should know what is causing the problem. The root cause of the problem must be known first. So we should first know what is the problem. What is the pest? So identification of the pest is the first and foremost step to be taken. This often overlooked step is actually very important. We are often found to make this mistake in the sense we don't identify it properly. So it is important. So it is important to all of us that there is proper identification. Step number 2, monitor pest activity. What is its activity like? How is it causing the problem? What is its lifestyle? How is it creating the menace? So we should monitor their activity. Determine action thresholds. We'll have to determine what is their action threshold. How are they behaving? Then we need to explore treatment options and make treatments. We need to find out what are the different options available. Then only we can start the treatment. And then at the last point, we'll have to evaluate the results. Integrated pest management, or IPM, is used to manage all kinds of pests anywhere, that is in villages, in urban area and rural area, everywhere. In urban, agricultural and wild land or natural areas. It is an ecosystem-based strategy that focuses on long-term prevention of pests or their damage through a combination of techniques such as biological control, habitat manipulation, modification of cultural practices, and use of resistant varieties. So this ecosystem-based strategy works the best when there is a combination of techniques like biological control, where natural agents will be implemented, then habitat manipulation. If you manipulate the habitat, then the pest might not grow over there. Or modification of cultural practices and use of resistant varieties of plants that will not allow the pest to grow, or that will not fall prey to the pest. Pesticides are used only after monitoring indicates they are needed according to established guidelines, and treatments are made with the goal of removing only the target organism. This is something very important. While doing this pest removing work, we should keep in mind that we are not tampering with the lifestyle of the beneficial ones. So only the target organism should be removed and not the others. Pest control materials are selected and applied in a manner that minimizes risks to human health, beneficial and non-target organisms, and the environment. So this pest control operation as a whole should not disturb human health or ecology or habitat or environment, and also non-target organisms. Now coming to biological control. So from the very word, we can understand that biological control method is the method of employing natural enemies of pests. It is the use of natural enemies like predators, parasites, pathogens, and competitors to control pests and their damage. You can see in this picture, one insect is consuming the other insect. So if this green insect is the harmful one, and this beetle is not harmful, we can employ this beetle to devour this prey. Invertebrates, plant pathogens, nematodes, weeds, and vertebrates have many natural enemies. One example is Bacillus thuringiensis, which is used as a biopesticide worldwide. Now see, here also you can see one insect is feeding on another insect. Predatory or parasitic insects and mites, known as beneficial or good bugs, help to control chewing and sucking insects that affect the quality and productivity of crops by killing them or disrupting their breeding cycle. So this is followed by a very important point here. Purchased natural predators are often effective for only a short period of time because they tend to move out of the area in which they are released. This has to be taken into consideration. These pests are not released stating any law and order to them. If they run away, they will be punished, penalized. Nothing like that. So these pests are not aware of the fact that they should remain captivated in that particular place. So what is seen is that many of these pests, they move out of the area in which they were released. So this has to be taken into consideration. Now coming to chemical control. Chemical control is the use of pesticides or chemicals that are toxic to the pest. Used only when needed and in combination with other approaches for more effective long-term control. This is an important line. See, used only when needed. There should not be careless and uncontrolled use of toxic chemicals. It is only used when needed and in specific quantities. Pesticides are selected and applied in a way that minimizes their possible harm to people, non-target organism, and the environment. See, in every control methods, you will come across this line that the non-target organisms should not be harmed, and also mankind, animals, and environment or ecosystem should not get harmed at any cost. The most selective pesticide does the job and is the fastest for other organisms and for air, soil, and water quality. So the pesticide that you select should be safest. That should be safest for other organisms, for the environment, that is soil, water, air, everything. It's safest. Use pesticides in bait stations rather than sprays, or spot spray a few weeds instead of an entire area. So the area in which it is being spread should be limited. A huge area need not get sprayed with this. So spraying should only be done at the area where it is needed. Misuse of pesticides can result in killing all of the insects vulnerable to active ingredients, leaving only the strongest to mate and reproduce. This results in pests quickly evolving resistance to the chemicals. In addition, pesticides can kill beneficial insects as well as pest species. So if there is misuse, if there is unskilled use of all these pesticides, then what will happen? It will result in killing of all of the insects vulnerable to the active ingredients. And another problem is what? This will result in pests quickly evolving resistance to the chemical. If the pests are becoming resistant to the chemical, then what is the use of spraying those chemicals? They will not die. So these things should be kept in mind. See, the pest problem may soon be much worse than it was initially because pest populations generally recover more quickly. Pesticide applications can also lead to outbreaks of secondary pests and can have adverse impact on non-target organisms that eat insects or leaves contaminated with pesticides. It may be carried into streams by stormwater runoff and cause unintended consequences. So if there is huge amount of pesticides sprayed on the soil, I mean the fields or farmlands, the water that comes as runoffs will contaminate the water bodies as well. Further potential problems with chemical management are direct hazards to the user and secondary exposure of family, friends, and pets to pesticide residue. Next, coming to physical or mechanical management. First is hand picking. So if you see the pests there or plants infested with the pest, you can just identify and pick it with the help of your hand and just dispose it off. Insect plants regularly for eggs, immatures or adults. Many insects are beneficial. If they are identified as harmful to the plant, handpick as many as possible. Over. Now coming to traps. Light traps, particularly black light or blue light traps, which emit ultraviolet light that is highly attractive to nocturnal insects, are good insect monitoring tools. Coming to mechanical barriers can help to exclude some pests but are not effective if the pest population is very large. So It is only effective if it is small, if the population of pest is, sorry, if the population of pest is small. Aluminium foil and other reflective mulches can repel aphids. This is one example. Next, coming to pruning and racking. Pruning infected twigs out of the infested plants and destroying them is one of the best methods in mechanical management. The twig that is infested can be removed, saving the entire plant, non-infected parts of the plant. Water sprays and irrigation. Spraying infested plants with a strong stream of water dislodges and kills the pest. Here, rain is a natural washing agent. If there is heavy downpour, heavy splush of rain, it will wash away the insect eggs or the insect itself from the plants. The plants will get washed away. The insects will get washed away from the surface of the plant. Then coming to heat treatment. Use of propane flamers to kill Colorado potato beetle larvae on potatoes without killing the plant has proven to be extremely effective. So when we are using this heat killing method, we should be very careful that the plant doesn't get injured in any way. Then coming to frightening devices. Reflective objects, noise makers, human or predator effigies, lights, lasers, pyrotechnics, guard animals, and ultrasound devices often become extremely frightening for the pests. Next, coming to cultural management. Keeping plants healthy and preventing plant stress helps plants to better withstand and repair the damage caused by an insect or mite pest. Some evidence indicates that healthy plants resist infestations by pests better than plants with low vigor. So this is something very important. We should cultivate plants that are more vigorous, that which have more vigor. Okay. So we'll discuss these one by one. Coming to soil preparation. Providing a favorable soil environment encourages the growth of healthy roots. The soil is the main spice here. So soil should be good. Increasing access to water and nutrients, preventing stress, and making the plant more resistant to pests and diseases than plants in poor soil. Plant selection. This is very important. We should always select a disease-free, insect-free, resistant plant or seeds. Select plants that are sturdy and have well-developed root system. Then rotation. Planting two similar crops in successive years tends to increase pest problem. The pests also get familiar with the plants, so planting same plants over the year will create problems. Many vegetables are closely related and have the same pests and diseases. Some insects hibernate in the soil or litter around plants or lay eggs in or on the host plant. So to avoid this, different types of plants or distantly related plants should be planted. Then coming to interplantings. Placing all plants of one kind together should be avoided. Instead, they should be spread throughout the garden. If all the plants are at the same, if all same type of plants are at the same place, then it will be easier for the pests to grow, breed, and destroy. So it is best to spread them throughout the garden. Then coming to planting dates. Time planting so that most of the crop avoids the peak of the insect infestations. Like early squash should reach maturity before the pickleworm arrives. So if we plant the crops in such a way that it matures before the breeding season of the pest or before the arrival of the pest, then the crops are saved. Next is weed management. Certain weeds welcome a lot of pests. So those weeds should not be allowed to grow in our croplands. So weeds and grasses can harbor both pests and beneficial insects. There should be critical weed management to avoid the useless ones or non-beneficial ones. Our last point is trap crops. Planting of a crop that is very attractive to insect and then treating the trap crop with insecticide has proven to be a very useful way of getting rid of the pests. So these are the various methods which are implemented in integrated pest management. So I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. In case if you have any doubt or any confusion, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will really be glad to solve your problem or clear your doubts. So please stay connected for our next lecture. Thank you.